This is Elizabeth Lang Barton of Certified Credit's Talk Data to Me podcast, and joining me today is Rob Chrane, the CEO of Down Payment Resources. How you doing, Rob?
I'm great, Allie. How are you doing?
Good. How's the conference been so far?
My head is spinning.
Yeah?
Not from the parties. My head's spinning from the meetings, so let's be clear about that.
Okay. Well, you know, there's a lot happening here at MBA. Did you get to see the session this morning?
You know, I was just telling somebody, I'm so disappointed. I have not been to the first session yet, and I'm not bragging.
Oh.
Trust me, I'm not bragging. I'm grateful for the meetings that we have.
Yeah.
We've kind of been overbooked, and the sessions, I've suffered from missing that.
You know what? It's okay. So in our last...
So what's happening?
Well, so yesterday morning, there was a great session. You had the president of MBA, the kept passing it along. So we started with the old, and then we went to the new one for this year. And then we followed it up with I believe it was Paul Ryan, but I had to leave before Paul Ryan got on because I was coming down here for some talk data.
Uh-huh.
And then this morning we had some talk data, and I didn't make it to see Coach K. But I did ask about it. It's okay. We can have a little FOMO, but we'll make it through.
We'll make it through. We will.
All right. So today we're talking about the Homeownership Program Index.
Correct.
And this is a report that you guys have created.
Yep.
So let's just start with what exactly is inside of the Homeownership Program Index.
Okay, so the Homeownership Program Index is a snapshot of our entire database. Mm-hmm. And what our database consists of is over 2,300 programs, affordable housing programs.
Okay.
Most of those are down payment assistance programs.
Okay.
Obviously, coming up with a down payment for a home is more challenging than ever. It's always been challenging, but it's more challenging than ever. So we keep this database, and we take a quarterly snapshot of it so that we could tell the marketplace how many programs are available today. As of the snapshot, we could tell people how many of those are funded and active.
Right.
We could tell people what does that database consist of.
Okay.
Because, as I said, most of it is down payment assistance. In fact, about 74% of the programs in there are some type of down payment assistance or closing cost help. And they could be grants, they could be due on sale affordable, repayable seconds. And then there's about 12 categories of programs, but most of them are down payment assistance. Some of them are mortgage credit certificates, first mortgage products, and on and on.
Well, there's a lot in there.
There's a lot. It takes a lot to keep it up to date.
We're talking about data then.
We're talking
a lot of data.
We're talking data to you.
Yeah, talking data with the data nerds. Love it. So this index, well, how did you guys imagine it would be useful to lenders, or how is it useful to lenders today?
Well, it's useful in a couple ways. Number one, it proves the point that there's plenty of opportunity out there to help more buyers get into homes. Because sometimes, one of the things is that lenders, there's no enterprise of any size that can track all of these programs.
Right.
I mean, over 2,300 programs. How do you keep up with that?
Right.
So, you just be guessing. Is this program active? Is it available? Is it funded? Has the rules changed? Is there a new program? All that kind of stuff. So it tells them that there's plenty out there. It tells them what are the types of opportunities, and sort of helps guide them in their strategy and business development strategy as to, all right, what should we be focusing on so that we can help more borrowers? Right.
So when we're looking at the data, we're looking at helping that borrower get into a home. What are you seeing? I know we were talking earlier, and you said that was 33% could have potentially gotten a mortgage with the down payment assistance?
Exactly. We've done tens of thousands. We've analyzed tens of thousands of declined loans, and we separated the ones that down payment assistance would not have helped.
Okay.
Because, for example, if it's declined because of a property issue, down payment assistance is not going to help that. It's not going to fix that. Or a FICO score. DPA is not going to fix that.
Right.
But if they don't have the cash to close, obviously down payment assistance helps. Or maybe their debt to income ratios are a little bit high.
Right.
And so, we find that about 33% of declined loans could have been approved by applying available down payment assistance.
That's really interesting to hear, because one of the things we were talking about yesterday was PMI, and how there is that ultimate myth that you have to have that 20%. And now we're talking about, okay, there is this myth, we'll say myth, that you have to meet this DTI, but there are ways to help decrease that and help that borrower get in a home. We're talking about, when we're making a down payment, we hear about you have to have that 20%. With a down payment assistance, you're not going to need that 20%, right?
That's right. Absolutely.
So where does this sit for borrowers? How are these programs additionally helping those borrowers?
So they're helping them by, so in other words, they may think they don't have enough money because they heard the myth, and myth is a great word. We one of our favorite blogs is, debunking myths and misperceptions about down payment assistance.
Yeah.
And so survey after survey has shown that mortgage-ready consumers are grossly overestimate the size of the down payment they need. Whether they think they need 20%, 15%, 10%, 5%, they don't need that much.
Right.
So the first thing is to get a conversation started about down payments, period.
Right.
So a lot of people just don't even know about low down payment mortgage options.
Really?
Believe it or not, a lot of people don't realize, I can get an FHA loan with 3.5% down, or I can get a conventional loan with 3% down.
Right.
So it's all about raising awareness and getting people to take another look, because so many people, last survey or research I saw, about 32 million mortgage-ready renter households that are 45 years old and younger.
Wow.
32 million, and a high percentage of them have self-selected themselves out of the market because they don't think they have the money to buy a home.
So as a lender, how do you overcome that? How do you start getting that borrower ready if they're not ready to raise their hand?
You do a lot of outreach.
Okay.
You do a lot of marketing, and you get the message out in front of consumers that down payment money is available. We can help you. Let's look at your situation and see what you might be eligible for. You may be able to buy a home sooner than you think.
That's really interesting. So we're looking at the current market. We're in not a great position right now. We're all aware. But how will programs like this continue to help those lenders and borrowers given our current market?
It will help more people afford homes. And now that the market's slowed for the reasons you mentioned, there's not quite the rush to, there's not necessarily a line of all cash buyers around the block. So first time home buyers have a little more time to look for homes, to get an offer presented. Sellers now will look at FHA contracts, VA contracts, which they weren't a year or two ago.
Right.
And so again, if they can get down payment assistance, lower their payments, they can get into that home sooner than they thought. And people talk about, should I wait? Should I wait and save 20%? Should I wait and save 5%, 10%? There's a broker in Florida that's used our product through his MLS, and he had a single mom come to his office, 2 daughters, wants to buy a home. They figured out kind of where she needed to buy, school district, size home, what's the price range, what did she qualify for as far as income and debt, but she didn't have the down payment. And he said, well, let's figure out, she said, well, how much will I need? And he said, well, you'll need at least, for this price home, you'll need at least $7,500. And she said, well, I don't have that, but I'm really motivated. I'm going to go home and I'm going to start saving. And he said, well, let's figure out how much can you save every month if you want a plan. And it was going to take about 4 years to save $7,500. And she said, well, I better get home and get started saving. He said, wait a minute, have you heard about down payment assistance? She said, no, what's that? He explained it to her. He found a program that worked for her. She was able to buy the home then, not 4 years later. And the interesting thing was, 4 years later, she had $70,000 of equity in that home.
Wow.
What would have happened if she waited to save $7,500? The home would have been priced out of reach.
Right, especially with what we just saw in 2020, 2021. Wow.
And I was checking in with him the other day. Since then, after being in that home several years, she sold it and she was able to buy a new home.
Oh, that's great.
More because she had equity.
Right.
Why wait if you're eligible for this?
Right. I think that's really a really good message, because I think a lot of people are waiting right now. They're waiting for the market to shift. And while we may see it, we may not. So that's
There's
really
no guarantee.
Right. We don't know what's going to happen. None of us have a crystal ball that's going to tell us. So I think it's really important when you're a lender looking at these programs and if they're available. And also then, we were talking about earlier, selecting a credit vendor that is willing to go and say, hey, we're going to partner with organizations that help deliver that. And so I am very excited to see the things that you guys are doing. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen with the future of our industry and the ways that we continue to help borrowers, help those underserved communities who are more often impacted by these types of programs.
Absolutely,
And I think that we are definitely heading as an industry in the right direction. It's just, we got to keep making momentum, and it's things like this that help.
Well, I agree with you completely. We've been doing this for 15 years, and we see just a huge change in attitude about this.
Yeah.
We want to do it. One last thing I guess I'd say to encourage lenders is that, some of our tools are licensed by multiple listing services. They make it available to agents and brokers.
Yeah.
The most frequently asked question we get from real estate agents is, tell me loan officers in my market who know how to do down payment assistance programs.
Wow.
And we even have a private Facebook page. And when you scroll through all the posts, all the agents post and say, hi, I'm Wendy, I'm in Orlando, and I need a loan officer who can do DPA. I mean, one after the other. So think about it. You're in a market, purchase market, you want to expand your referral base.
Right.
What better topic to go sit down and talk with a realtor about than to say, let's look at some of your prospects or maybe people that were turned down. Let's take another look at them and see if they're eligible for down payment help, and maybe they can buy a home now.
Yeah, that's very interesting, Rob.
Lenders can become superheroes.
Hey, I like that. I've been talking a lot about how everybody in this industry is just striving to get someone in a home. That's our job. Our job is to get someone in a home, and when we can help people who maybe aren't in the best financial situation work their way through whether it's credit education, whether it's, a down payment resource, whether it's just general financial education that gets them to that savings goal or gets them to that credit score goal. At the end of the day, we're helping get people in homes. And that's why we're all passionate about what we do.
That's right. That's why you never leave this business, right? Once you get it in your blood, what else compares with helping people get into home ownership and all the good things that come along with that?
Absolutely. Well, Rob, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been wonderful, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your time at MBA here.
Well, thank you, Allie. Thank you so much for having me. It's great talking with you, and keep up the great work you guys are doing.
Thank you. Appreciate it.